Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Will Nunley here with Storm Specialist Drew Richards. We're part of the SevereView weather team, and we wanted to come on for a few minutes tonight and get you prepared, not scared, that's our motto, and get you ready for what is going to be likely an impactful, eventful weekend of weather. So Drew, good evening to you. Thank you for staying up with us tonight here as we run through some maps, run through some model data, and get people really prepared for what is going to be really a long night, overnight Friday, and a long day Saturday. So we have audiences across Tennessee from several different areas, Middle, West, and East Tennessee watching us tonight. So let's start about the timing of this and when we can really start to see some impacts Friday. What is the latest from the National Weather Service, and what are you seeing from the weather models that are coming in?
Sounds good. Yep. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Will. We did get our afternoon update from the National Weather Service, and they did shift everything north for Saturday just a little bit. So we'll show you those maps first. Looking at current radar across the state, a little bit of shower activity north of the Chattanooga area, as you can see there. But otherwise, not a lot going on. Some showers down southern Middle Tennessee, just across the Alabama state line. But otherwise, we've got a quiet evening. So we'll quickly look at the outlooks from the Storm Prediction Center first. This is for tomorrow night mainly. So when you look at all the pretty rainbow colors on the map, you're thinking, oh my goodness, storms tomorrow. Not really. We don't expect a whole lot during the daytime hours. This is all going to be late evening and overnight. So Will, the way these graphics work, this goes from 7 a.m. tomorrow morning through 7 a.m. Saturday morning. So It's a little bit confusing that it doesn't go midnight to midnight, but what we're looking at is a plethora of, again, don't really worry about what colors that you're in on this map. The entire state tomorrow night, with the exception of, as you see, far east Tennessee, pretty much along and east of I-75, has a severe weather threat. So again, if you're in the Smokies tomorrow night, I think you're good. Everywhere else, Knoxville westward all the way to the Mississippi River, it doesn't matter what color you're in. All the colors mean is how many severe weather reports we expect. So less severe weather expected number-wise in the green. And as you go further and further west, all the way to the red, which is a level 4 out of 5, a higher concentration of severe weather. That's tomorrow night. Now let's go to Saturday. So there's your Saturday colors. And again, the entire state of Tennessee in some level of risk. And earlier today, they brought that red shade of color down here a little bit further north out of Mississippi and into Alabama, and now it's getting dreadfully close to our southern Middle Tennessee counties as well. So that updates again overnight tonight from the Storm Prediction Center. We'll have to see what they do with that update, but as of right now, it doesn't really matter because we'll run through future radar really quick. This is tonight. Not a lot going on across the state tonight, just a few showers, and the numbers are temperatures on the map there. And then as we go throughout the daytime hours tomorrow, there we are late tomorrow afternoon. Hey, 75 to 80 degrees across the state. No weather worries again for the daytime hours. But as we get into late evening and especially overnight tomorrow night, here is where we start to get a little bit dicey. We'll have to watch. This is valid at 8 p.m. tomorrow on just one of our computer models, and we have a lot to go on here in the weather office. It is suggesting that we have a low-end chance of maybe a few scattered supercells that may try to develop down here in northeastern Mississippi. This is valid at, again, 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. We'll have to watch that. That's probably a low likelihood of that happening, but that's something we're definitely going to have to watch, because if those get going, those would move up right in here to our southern Middle Tennessee coverage area. And watch what's happening out to the west. That little line of storms continues to develop out near the Mississippi River. Here we are now at midnight. So the line of thunderstorms approaching the Tennessee River. And now 1 a.m. coming across the Tennessee River into Middle Tennessee. Will they be severe? That's the question. So a lot of computer models will tomorrow night. Go back to my camera just for a minute. A lot of computer models are keeping it completely dry overnight tomorrow night. We've got what's called a cap in the atmosphere. So it's a lid of warm air that's going to try to make these thunderstorms not be able to develop. So some models, like the one we're looking at right here, say, hey, we're going to have a pretty good coverage of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow night. Other models are completely opposite and show 1 or 2 showers moving across the state of Tennessee. So tomorrow night's the really hard forecast that we're trying to figure out, because it's one of those that we talked about earlier when me and you talked on the phone today. If we have storms tomorrow night, they have all the ingredients to be really bad. Tornadic activity is possible, damaging winds, and large hail. But we may not have any storms on radar. We may have partly cloudy and warm, breezy conditions all through the overnight hours, and nothing is able to develop. So it's one of those kind of nights we're just going to have to keep an eye on radar. We'll be staffed here, of course, in the weather office, watching it behind the scenes. And if you need to know any information, of course, we'll be here to bring you that information. Now, let's turn the page on that wheel. As we go throughout the rest of the evening hours Friday night, look what happens. That line of storms kind of sort of tries to weaken across Middle Tennessee. It's still there. So that the time frame now, we're at 7 a.m. Saturday morning. So I definitely think we see a lull in the action between daybreak when the sun comes up, 6 to 7 a.m. Saturday, through possibly mid-morning. But this is what's concerning to me. This is now valid at 9 a.m. We're already seeing redevelopment from Savannah up through Waynesboro, up to about the Columbia area, and maybe as far north as Murfreesboro, Nashville, all the way up to the Springfield area. So that would be our second wave of storms. And Will, as I continue to push in the future, look what way that line of storms is moving. It's not moving west to east like we normally see. It's just continuing to train over itself from Savannah up through Linden, up through Centerville, all the way up to the Nashville area. And now we are at 11 a.m. on the current time. And notice what's back down to the south. Another, dare I say, swarm of thunderstorms that are trying to be supercells in Mississippi and Alabama.
Wow,
and
look at that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you see the hooks. Let me go back. So right
and what
there,
kind of time frame are we, when we're looking at that, what kind of time frame are we there?
Noon on Saturday is what we're looking at right here.
Right in the heat of the day.
Zoom in a little bit closer. Right in the middle of the day, in the heat of the day. And notice the temperatures on the map, mid-60s to lower 70s all across the state. So just, again, prime ingredients. And you see even a hook here. Like the model is even printing out a supercell right here north of, again, the don't pay attention to the spacing. So just as that's showing over Decatur County, that may not be over Decatur County. It may be further north. It may be further south. But the general idea is we're going to have possibly multiple rounds of individual supercells from mid-morning through noon. Look, we're still going. This is valid at 2 p.m. now. 3 p.m. It just keeps going and going and going, and has the potential to be a really bad day. Now, Will, if I know you saw, and if everybody saw our Facebook post earlier in the day, kind of our best case scenario, and let me take it all the way out. This is valid at 7 p.m. Saturday evening. So that would be hopefully the final line of thunderstorms coming through Nashville back down to about Waynesboro around 6 to 7 o'clock. Because look at the temperatures in West Tennessee. We've dropped out of the 70s into the 50s. So as soon as we get that cooler air, that's going to put an end to our severe thunderstorm threat again, hopefully right around sunset on Saturday. Now, best case scenario, all these showers and thunderstorms buck so quickly Saturday morning, and they just continue to erupt. They choke each other out. And we talked about that in our Facebook post earlier today. What would that mean? We still have a damaging wind threat. We still would have a tornado threat, but then we would be talking about EF0 to EF2 type tornadoes. And if you have an EF0, Will, as you know, coming down your street, it's a really bad day because you can get serious damage with 90 to 95 mile per hour wind. So we would have, I think, lower end type tornadoes during the day on Saturday. We would have a serious flash flood threat because the more thunderstorms we get, the more excessive rainfall. We could have flash flood emergencies that we're talking about during the day on Saturday, just because you got to think if we have pouring rain from 10 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon, we may pick up 3, 4, 5, 6 plus inches of rainfall over the same area. So pick your poison type of deal. Damaging winds, lower end tornadoes, flooding, I think is the best bet that we're going to get out. Hopefully it's not even that, but again, it's looking pretty bad. The worst case scenario, we wake up Saturday morning and the radar's blank and we've got partly cloudy skies and the sun's peeking out, 8, 9, 10 o'clock Saturday morning. Then we have the big time supercells erupt, late morning through the midday. And that would be worst case scenario to where you don't have the big blob of storms choking each other out. You have the big monster supercells that would put a tornado on the ground and be a strong to violent, upper end EF3 or greater type tornado that literally goes for miles and miles and miles. So that's what we're hoping we can get away from on these trends. But again, we need to prepare for the worst case scenario, have a plan in place, I know what you're going to be doing today, Saturday. I know a lot of you have to go to work Saturday, and you've got to do things that you can't get out of. So you've still got tomorrow. Let's talk about it tomorrow, wherever you're going to be, with your friends, with your family members, with your coworkers. Try to get a plan in place and know what you're going to do Saturday and even overnight tomorrow night if we have severe weather that we have to contend with, and make sure you have a safe place to get to shelter from the severe weather.
Absolutely. A couple of notes to pass along here for those of you watching on our radio partner, WOPC in Linden, is that actually the tornado sirens in Perry County, the one in the heart of Linden, not far from where this camera shot is, are not working. There's a technical issue, so we wanted to bring that up. And also, folks, for those of you streaming along with us right now, if you have any questions, feel free to send those to us here in the chat, and we'll be able to answer those as well. This is, as you've outlined here, Drew, one of the big concerns is going to be the overnight hours Friday, because if these do get some strength anywhere in the state of Tennessee in the middle of the night, that's the worst time for storms to hit. And so even though we're coming to you here on social media, and social media is a great way to exchange a lot of information, it's not going to wake you up in the middle of the night. And so what you're going to want to do is take time to enable the weather alerts on your phone, so that way you get that EAS kind of weather alert there on your phone. And also make sure that you have a NOAA weather radio handy as well, because that will wake you up in the middle of the night. And so I apologize, my camera went crazy there. That happens sometimes. Live TV, right? So we have multiple ways to receive warnings. That's going to be the key for the overnight hours Friday. So we're going to be here with you. We're going to be here along with our radio partners as well. We have a network of cameras to track this in real time. We can take a look at one of those here in Clifton as well. And so this is our Clifton camera. We have some really in counties throughout Tennessee, and all of our broadcast partners. We're going to bring you our coverage not only here, but our digital partners and radio stations across Tennessee. You're not going to be able to see much on this camera, but we'll take you out to Hickman County real quick. This is our Centerville Tower camera as well, kind of looking over a really dark horizon there on Centerville. But this one, of course, is going to be a little bit better as we show you beautiful downtown Linden there. Drew, I appreciate your time tonight. I know that we have a lot of people. We've heard a lot about this for days, and there's a reason why we have not posted every single model that comes through, because it changes. And we are very fortunate, of course, to be able to learn about storms days before they're going to affect an area, but that model guidance changes a whole lot. And so we want to make sure that the information we're giving you is the very latest and is closest to what we believe the forecast is going to be able to show. So I think I've stopped my camera from going squirrely here. Let's see if we can come back into the frame. There we go. Okay. Robotics, people. I'm trying to learn all this stuff. Anyway, but that's right. We have the nighttime hazards. We have the daytime hazards Saturday, when a lot of people are going to be out trying to be around doing things with the family. So make sure you have, again, multiple ways to receive those warnings. So we're going to keep you prepared, folks, through several different ways throughout Friday night and Saturday. And we'll check back in with you, of course, tomorrow as well, and keep you updated on this. Drew, any final thoughts as we have people starting their very busy weekends tomorrow?
Just want to say a quick hey to Veronica tuning in this evening. Thanks for the comment, and Mary watching this evening. Yeah, just like you said, Will, make sure we have a plan. We haven't said a whole lot on the previous events. I'll add a little bit to what you just said. Previous events this year, there's been some talk and some posts. Oh my goodness, it's going to be bad. Well, we've thankfully got really lucky, if you want to call it that, this year, with a lot of rain, a lot of wind, some severe weather threats, but what has looked like a severe weather threat a week out, or even 3 or 4 days out, thankfully so far this year has kind of not materialized in our local area. Well, so far, as we get closer to this event, Will, this is absolutely the opposite of what we've seen happen so far. All the numbers and we could sit here for an hour and a half and go through model data, which of course we're not going to do. It would bore everybody, but all the severe weather parameters and the numbers and the ingredients that we look at, it just continues to go up as we get closer to this event. So again, that's what's really concerning to us, that, we're trying to find ways that we can get out of this on a good note. And unfortunately, the closer we get, we keep running out of ways that we think we can get out of this without a really bad severe weather day for somebody. Again, I don't think everybody, in the Southeast, no, everybody in the Southeast is not going to be affected by this. So you got to think about, everybody's thinking, oh my goodness, when you think about just to our south, April 27th, 2011, some of the 1974, the super outbreak, even on those worst days where you have a swarm of tornadoes, a literal tornado outbreak happening all around you, the likelihood that your house still gets hit is still very, very, very low. So I know we have a lot of people with storm anxiety and, worried about the weekend. Try to not worry, try to calm yourself in any way you can, and just make sure you have a plan in place. Because if you know what you're going to do and you have a way to receive weather information, that's going to help you stay calm in the event of a tornado warning for your area. So that's kind of
right.
the last thing I wanted to add.
And this is spring storm season. This is going to be the first of many. Unfortunately, we have these waves move through. The battle of the seasons begins, and so we're going to, preparing and reacting to this is nothing new for us. So we're going to guide you through this storm as we have many, many storms in the past here on SevereView and with our radio partners as well. So Drew, I appreciate your time tonight. Thanks for catching up with us. We're going to keep all of the folks in town. I see Jay Henson on the line. Jay's going to be with us, helping to man our coverage as well with us tomorrow night as well. So we're going to have lots of resources here to serve you, to keep your family safe, but make sure you have that plan. If you haven't been in your storm shelter yet this year, go in there and clean out all the wasp nests, okay? Bring you a flashlight in there. And also we want to remind you to download the free SevereView app. It is free in your app stores. And that way, if you do have to go to a safe shelter, you can bring our coverage right along with you. If you prefer to watch on the big screen, we'll meet you there as well. Download SevereView, all one word, SevereView, on Roku TV, and we'll be there to greet you as well. So lots of resources, lots of ways, in addition to radio, to try to serve you and your family. That's what we have done for nearly a decade and what we'll continue to do here with our family of partners. All right, Drew, thank you so much for your time tonight. We're going to let folks get some rest. I know that we've heard a lot about this, folks, over the past few days. So we'll keep you informed. Stay with us here. Drew, have a great night, and good night, everybody.